Today, I'm going to be making a massive upgrade to my crypto mining farm. Over the last 3 months, not much has changed. I haven't bought any new GPUs. I haven't purchased any new ASIC miners. Well, that all changes today. Today, I received the Elphapex DG Home 1 from Crypto Miner Bros, and it just happens to be the most profitable miner in my entire farm. So today, we're going to take a look at a couple different things. First off, how to set this thing up in what I think is the most profitable and simplest way with Viabtc and their merged mining. And for those who don't care about the setup of the miner, we're gonna do some analysis as well. For the $2,500 cost of this miner, are you better off buying the Elphapex DG Home 1, or would you be better off buying GPUs? We're gonna do some cost and profit analysis to see which comes out ahead. We're also gonna look at where am I gonna stick this thing, because my GPU shelf right here is basically maxed out, though I do have a couple tricks up my sleeve. So let's get into it after a quick word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, quick interruption to talk about today's sponsor, Viabtc. If you're mining Bitcoin or Litecoin, you're not going to want to miss this. Viabtc offers a few different ways to boost your mining rewards compared to other pools. First off, Viabtc offers merged mining. This allows you to mine multiple cryptos at the same time. For example, when mining Litecoin, you will automatically be mining Dogecoin, Bells, Pepe, Junkcoin, and Lucky Coin at the same time. Merged mining is also available on Bitcoin. The second way to earn extra income with Viabtc is pool referrals. Refer anyone and you can get 10 to 20% of their mining fees. Viabtc also has an insanely competitive 2-hour payout schedule. So if you aren't already, definitely check out Viabtc and see if you can increase your mining rewards today. I'll leave a link down below and let's get back to the video.
So thanks to Viabtc for sponsoring this video. Seriously guys, if you are mining scrypt or Bitcoin, you need to check them out and see if it's more profitable for your setup. So here she is in all her beauty, the Elphapex DG Home 1. So I'll do a quick overview of what we're looking at here. The size of this thing is actually smaller than a Jazz miner. So I was thinking that this would be about the same size, but I would say a Jazz miner is like out here. So actually significantly bigger. One thing I wanted to note is I watched the Hobbyist channel and he said that it did not come with an antenna, and it actually does, but it's just in a small white packaging that is not very easy to find within the actual box itself. And speaking of the box, this thing came in vacuum sealed in a very good container here, all foam around, and then there was a vacuum seal around this foam. So Elphapex, very good job on the shipping. One thing I also wanted to point out is this I found very interesting, is that this actually can only rest on one side. If you put it on the other side, it says that there is a chance of failure. And looking through the grates in here, you're not really going to be able to see it, but I believe that's because the heat sinks and stuff are sitting on the chips and you don't want those upside down, or with the heat they could, I doubt they're going to fall off, but maybe leave an air gap or something like that. So this, I'll give you guys a close-up, is extremely important if you're getting this device. But with that, I'm not even going to go over the ports and everything. It's everything your standard ASIC has with the C13 port. Let's go ahead and set this thing up. We need to plug in a power connector and then a Ethernet connector, and then we'll head upstairs to the computer. Okay, with most of these miners, you want to plug in the Ethernet first, and then we'll plug in our C13 power cable. This is running on 120 volt right now, and then you're gonna get your standard red and green light, and when you start mining, this should just be flashing green.
All right guys, so once you plug in your miner, it's going to pop up on one of your IP addresses, and your next step is to figure out which IP address has your ASIC miner on it, and there's a couple ways to do this. So if you own any Ice River units, Ice River has a Ice River miner tool that scans your networks and finds the Ice River device. Well, Elphapex is no different, and that name is not easy to say. I'm gonna have to figure that out. They have a miner tool that allows you to scan your IPs and figure out which IP address your DG Home 1 is on. But in this case, I just used my phone where I can connect to my router and see all the different things that are on my network. And this was just labeled DG Home 1. And you can see right here, it's on the 192.168.68.65 IP address. And then our login here is going to be root and root. And if we hit sign in, we can go ahead and save that. We're going to get our first look at the Elphapex basically UI. This is where you can see your hash rate, change your pool settings, all kinds of different things. So obviously the first thing that we need to do is get this thing mining to our address, and it couldn't come at a better time because it's like 7 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now, and it's very cold in my house. So it's 66 in this office right now. I'm probably just going to move this thing into the office, at least short term. But first, let's get it mining. So the first thing we need to do is go to Miner and put in our pool address, our username, and our password. And this is where we're going to go to Viabtc.com. The reason I'm picking them is because they offer merged mining, which if we go to the earnings page right here, you can see it says mine Litecoin and get Doge, Bells, Lucky Coin, Pepe, and Junk Coin. So what this is going to do is while you're mining Litecoin, you normally already mine Doge and you kind of dual mine the both of them. But Viabtc is going to allow you to accumulate these 3 extra coins, Lucky Coin, Junk Coin, and Pepe. And then they also have the option to auto convert these into something so you don't have these random junk coins, even though that's actually the name of one of them. These random kind of crap coins that I personally don't care about. That's going to auto convert them into a coin I do care about and potentially boost my profits. So we are going to test that because I've never tried this before. So we will see how it works. But as far as setting this up, if we go back to dashboard here, Viabtc has our Stratum URLs right here. So we can just go ahead and paste these in here, and it gives you 3 different ones, which is nice. In case one pool is down, then you have the other links to potentially not lose any mining time. And then our username, we're going to want to put ModernMiningHub in here. And then we'll put a dot for what our ASIC name should be. We will name this just Elphapex. And so we'll copy that and put that into all 3 settings. And then for our password, I like to just leave this blank. We'll see if it allows us to do it. So that does say success. Now we will go ahead and reboot this miner. And just like that, let's wait a second and see if we're already up and mining, because if so, that would be pretty easy. So while we're waiting on that, let's take a quick look at the actual profitability of this miner, because that's obviously what we care about the most. And you can see that our income is $5.38, and then we're spending $1.64 on my power rate for a total profit of $3.74, or $112 per month. So that is pretty nice. And then about $1,300 per year. Now, granted, this is going to change, but part of the reason why I like this miner and why if I was going to recommend an ASIC miner to anyone, it would probably be this one right now, because it is the best scrypt miner for at-home mining. And scrypt miners in general have the longest term profitability besides maybe Ethash Asics. And that's obviously when you're buying a miner like this, what you want. You want it to be able to mine on it for a few years and not be worried about it losing profitability because a ton more machines come out or the coin prices go low. When you're mining Dogecoin and Litecoin, both top 10 in market cap cryptos, those are very relatively stable coins that are going to maintain mining profitability. So if you do want one of these miners, they are $2,500 on Crypto Miner Bros right now, and that is for the January 2025 batch. I don't normally like pushing ASICs, and that's why I don't do it very often, but this is one that I can recommend with confidence to people. And if you guys are going to buy miners, please use my code MODERN on Crypto Miner Bros, and you'll get $70 off your order. So instead of supporting some of the big guys, maybe use the little guy's code every once in a while. But all right, that's all the promotion I'm going to do. Let's go back to Viabtc and let's see if this thing is up and running, and then we can do some additional testing. Let's take a quick look at the dashboard here. We can see that we are indeed up and mining now for, it looks like 3 minutes. And if we go to Viabtc, you can see that we have 1 worker showing up, and we are indeed seeing our hash rate spike right there. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, it says you haven't set your auto withdrawal yet, so click here to set that. That's the last thing we need to do here, is to input our wallet addresses that we want to use for all these coins. And so I mentioned that we're going to be getting a lot of different coins, Lucky Coin, Junk Coin. So I don't want to set withdrawal addresses for those, but I do want to set up conversions for those. So if you go to the convert tab right here, this is going to take you to the convert menu, and then you can set up auto conversions right here. So before we do that, I'm going to first put in my wallet addresses for both Dogecoin and Litecoin, because I'm fine with holding those coins. Litecoin I think is undervalued for where it's at. Dogecoin, I've always said I'm not a big fan of meme coins, but it's obvious at this point that Dogecoin is here to stay, so I might as well hold a little bit of it, and it's down a little bit from its recent price spikes. So I am going to put in a deposit address for both of those. So here, if you go into the auto withdrawal settings, this is where you can save addresses for each coin. So for Dogecoin, I'm going to go in here, and then I'm going to withdraw to my own address and stick in my Dogecoin address here. I don't even have one. I have to go find one because I just don't hold dog coins. All right, that is my Pinex address. I was going to go to Coinbase, but then I remember that Pinex has way better fees, so I'm definitely doing that. So confirm, and then you'll need to do your SMS stuff, and then I'll do this for Dogecoin and Litecoin as well, and then let's move on. All right, the next thing I wanted to do is to compare spending $2,500 on the DG Home 1 versus $2,500 on GPUs. Because this channel is obviously primarily a GPU mining channel, but I do see the upside of Asics, especially in terms of profitability right now at least, because GPUs are really not making much at all. So let's do that comparison. So the DG Home 1 is about $2,400 once you put in my $70 coupon Modern. And for GPUs, let's do some calculations here. So if we go to GPU calculator, let's say that we can get 3070s for $200, which is pretty cheap. It'd be hard to find a lot of cards for $200. And let's say we can buy maybe 10 of them, and the rest of that budget is going into your motherboard, your CPU, your RAM, your power supply. So let's put in here 10 3070 GPUs and see what our profit looks like. If we hit calculate, we can see that our highest profit would be on the coin Waglayla. Never heard of that one, must be a new one. And that's only offering 57 cents profit. And then next up being Nice Hash on Zealous, and that would be 43 cents profit. So you can clearly see, at least right now, this is essentially a 10x better investment than GPUs at this point in time. Now, there is a lot of other stuff that goes into that. Obviously, the more people who mine Dogecoin and Litecoin, the lower the profitability is going to be on that miner, and you're kind of stuck with it. It can't mine other coins like GPUs can. But is that risk outweighed by the 10x increase in profitability right now? Not to mention, if you're not great with computers, then this is just plug and play, easy to do. So something to think about. I really didn't know how that test was going to turn out, and it is pretty interesting that it was kind of that drastic. Really quickly here, I do want to look at the price of Dogecoin over the last year and see where it's at, and it is still pretty elevated. So we had a max peak of about 46 cents, and it's at 37 right now. So this is pretty accurate of what this miner's profit has been, at least since November. Now, before that, it was likely a lot less profitable because Dogecoin was down. But again, with anything crypto mining, if you're holding the coin, then the yield is technically what you care about the most. So what's going to happen next is I'm going to leave this to mine for the next few days, and we'll check back in a little later in this video on what the profits are looking like, how much money we're actually making from the junk coins and the lucky coins and all these other smaller coins. But for now, let's head back into the basement and figure out where we're going to put this thing.
All right, so let's see if we can do a little sound test here. This thing is essentially basically totally silent. It's getting overshadowed by just the case fans that are on the front of my GPU rigs because I can't hear this thing at all. So how this miner works is it's actually pulling air down through the top and then exhausting out the back here, and it's putting out some nice warm air right now. Let me turn this thing around. Very nice. My hands are pretty cold from working up in that office right now. So I can kind of see down in there too. I'll see if I can give you guys a look of that. If I can get the focus right, but obviously huge heat sink over the chips right there. And the way that you're not supposed to lay this is down like this, because then that heat sink is just kind of fighting gravity. So where am I going to put this thing? Conveniently, since it's smaller than a Jazz miner, I did measure it and I could stick it right here. So I could lay it on these three boards, scoot this rig over because it does have a little bit of room. It would be a tight fit, but I could fit it on the shelf, and that's probably where I'll put it during the summer. But that brings me to a sort of wider question of come summertime, what am I gonna do down here to kind of get all of my hardware exhausting into my little hot aisle here? Because I'm gonna have the Jazz Miner and all those AL0s and KS0 Ultras and now this Elphapex unit, and I need them all to be in this very tight general area so that this fan can pull their heat out and bring in fresh air from that window right there and the garage windows. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. There's a couple kind of different options I have been thinking about. Maybe putting a shelf right here that also has hardware, so it's basically 2 shelves that are exhausting into there, and maybe one's an ASIC shelf and one's a GPU shelf. What I don't really want to do, but I see the benefit of it, is get server cases, because if I had octominers, I could basically fit all of these GPUs in maybe this much shelf space, like from the floor to here. But I like the look of being able to see the GPUs, especially being a YouTuber. Like, I think just being able to come up here and look at the cards is a big thing that I don't really want to throw away with server cases. And the noise. Server cases are so loud, I don't want to deal with that. One other thing that we need to do, and one of the main benefits of a miner like this, is obviously the Wi-Fi. So I think for now I am going to move this upstairs into the office because I've already got Ethernet up there. My office is pretty cold right now, and don't forget I have that WABA plug up there, and I could actually plug this miner and my 2 AL0s into, where is it? This big gauge extension cord. So the WABA plug would obviously go onto that end, and then all of my AL0s and this DG miner can go into that 3-way splitter there. So let's knock that out real quick. So let's get all of our cordage set up first before I bring that miner up here. One thing to note that may be a downside about the DG Home 1 miner is it doesn't have handles on it like the Jazz miner does, which is actually extremely convenient if you're going to be moving it around the house to use it like as a space heater. So let's plug in our big power splitter right here into the WABA plug, and then our AL0s will go into this cable, and then our DG Home 1 will go into this cable, and we will run this up behind here, and then we can just set that miner. Basically, I'll probably scoot these over, and that miner will go right here. And I also have a switch over here so we can just plug it into Ethernet. We don't even need to use the Wi-Fi. And of course, we'll do a little cable managing to keep the wife happy. Just toss these under the rug, and it'll look not too bad back here. There you go. Can't even tell. Excuse the ugly curtain hanging over there. That's got to get the proper lighting for you guys. So this is where it's going to go. Plug in our Ethernet right here, just a nice short cable over to the switch. Plug in our C13 cable, and there we go. We should have a nice new space heater in here. One thing I need to eventually do is peel off these stickers on the side, but I'll probably leave those for now. So guys, let's let this thing run for a few days, and then we'll check back in and see have the profits matched what was expected, and what are we going to do with all the extra coins we're getting from merge mining on Viabtc. All right guys, it's been a few days. Let's dig into the results and see where is our profit coming from, what coin specifically. It's been about a day and a half, and we can see that we've mined $1.1 in Litecoin. We've mined $9.63 worth of Doge. We've mined 2 cents worth of Bells, 5 cents worth of Lucky Coin, 13 cents of Pepe, and 1 cent of Junk Coin. Now that's been a couple days, so let's sort that by just one single day. If we go to the earnings page on Viabtc, then we can click on Litecoin here, and we can see for 116, it was 48 cents. For Doge, we were at 4.98, so basically $5.5. And then Bells was 1 cent, Lucky Coin 2, Pepe 5, and Junk Coin 0. So as you can see, the smaller coins like Junk Coin and Lucky Coin, they're not doing anything crazy. If we do the math here, they're making about 1.5% extra profitability, which more than covers like the pool fee, which is, I guess, pretty nice in that regard.
But the main thing here is that you're just getting a little bit extra profitability. So guys, with that, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you like this video, and I'm excited to see the end of the month summary now that I have this extra miner. How much total money am I spending on power cost, and what am I getting out of it? We'll have to see at the end of the month. So stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching.